heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
Alright then. It has come to the attention of the court that Roman General Caius Cassius is under multiple violations of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It can be stated that under violations of Articles 11, Section 1, 10, 5, and 23, Section 1, the accused is worthy of all stated punishments. To begin with, as stated in Article 11, Section 1, everyone charged with a penal offense has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, according to law in a public trial at which he had all the guarantees necessary for his defense. Now, according to Cassius, Julius Caesar had been a tyrant as seen when he had Marius and Flavius put to death for covering up pictures of statues of Julius Caesar during the Feast of Lupercal, and therefore worthy of death himself. Under Roman law at the time, however, of course, the act of covering up his image was illegal and therefore just. More importantly, Julius Caesar was not assumed as innocent at any point, nor given any public trial to prove his defense. The conditions under which he was declared guilty were under private means of secretive association among members of the party and under the influence of Cassius. Now what do you have to say?
Well, I say that I plead not guilty for reason of insanity. So, everything you just said, don't know.
In what ways would you say that there was such insanity?
Hold on. For the associative identity disorder that Mr. Cassius, my client, has gone through.
And that would be?
Just like associative identity disorder. Continue on with your witnesses.
For this one, I do not have any witnesses, but for the next one, I will call them up. Let's see now. In accordance to Article 10 of the UDHR, everyone is entitled in full equality to a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal in the determination of his rights and obligations and of any crime charged against him. As stated above, Julius Caesar was not given any form of a public hearing. In that case, Cassius and his organization were said to be that. In the case that Cassius and his organization were said to be that equal of a court, it can be equally opposed that such was, in fact, not impartial, and rather exceptionally biased. Likewise, in the accusation of Julius Caesar to be a tyrant through his arguably immodest behaviors and self-righteous policies and beliefs, and his move to end it, Cassius violates Caesar's rights under Article 19 to freedom of opinion and expression without interference. Now, as a witness, I would like to call to the stand Julius Caesar himself.
They stabbed me multiple times. Oh, crap. And as I was being stabbed, I looked into my so-called friend, Brutus. All the sorrow in my eyes. Can't believe they didn't see it. and they just kept stabbing me. What really hurt me the most was Brutus.
Do you have your defense?
Well, and what Julius Caesar was stating was that it was Brutus that was the one that killed him, not Cassius.
In my defense, I have to say that in the book it relates that everyone in his organization was thus who stabbed Caesar.
And in Article 15, it says that everyone has a right to a nationality. Cassius was just stating that he did not like how Julius Caesar was ruling the government. He and Julius Caesar had multiple tries to still survive. There was 3 times where he could have still lived, and he chose not to.
Which, in opposition, brings me to my next case. Under Article 5, it states that no one shall be subjected to cruel or inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. Cassius, as leader of his organization, assumes all responsibility over which all things condemnable and detestable are enacted. Accordingly, he must accept all authority under which he and all others presented to Caesar among the alleged crime to which they accused him. With the recorded account to which Caesar was killed, Cassius is clearly under the violation of Article 5. Under Cassius and his organization, Caesar was tricked into a meeting to which he believed would promote himself. Instead, the accused invited Caesar, knowing that his death would soon come into their own hands. Caesar was stabbed multiple times at the reported site and survived, if only for a few moments, to realize the pain of such, and was bestowed to a death which one should find completely degrading, as at the hand of his trusted Brutus himself. As a witness to my defense, I would like to call to the stand both Calpurnia and Brutus.
Oh. Raise your right hand. Put your hand on the book. Right hand. I swear by the Almighty Court that the evidence I shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Repeat.
I swear by the Almighty Court
That the evidence I give
that the evidence I give
will be the truth,
will be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Now, my first question is for Brutus. May you raise your hand? Now, first of all, what happened the day of Julius Caesar's murder?
Well, they had invited him to the Capitol where they were gathered. And while Julius Caesar was speaking, everyone in Cassius' group started stabbing him out of nowhere.
Would you say that the accused Caius Cassius was the leader of the group who murdered Caesar?
Yes, I would.
Indeed, you would say that Cassius was one of the many, including you yourself, that stabbed Julius Caesar, yes?
Yes.
Now, for Calpurnia, I would like to ask you this. Is it true that you warned Caesar not to participate on the day of his murder?
Yes, it is true.
Would you agree that the acts done to your husband were spontaneous, cruel, and very much so degrading?
Yes, definitely.
And all of these in violation of the said article that I just stated. You may now sit down.
Actually, I would like a question, Brutus.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Brutus, you said that my client, Mr. Cassius, was one of the first ones to stab Julius Caesar when Julius Caesar was talking, right?
Yes.
But really, Julius Caesar, the dead one, stated that you were the first one to stab him and that you were the one that stabbed him in the back. Not Cassius, but you. So, are you stating your statement correctly? Or are you lying under oath?
No.
Then how come the one that died is saying a different story than you are?
Well, he died.
Yes, and he apparently came back to life.
Can I intervene in this?
Go on.
According to the said play of Julius Caesar, it is instead not stated who was first who stabbed him.
Actually, it is. In page 828, it says that Brutus was the one that was doing it first, and then in Julius Caesar's deathbed, well, the floor, he was saying, why would Brutus do that? He wasn't questioning anybody else but Brutus himself. That is all. You may be seated.
Please find me in the said article and verse this.
In page 862, it says Brutus saying, I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery, Caesar, desiring thee that Publius Cimber may have an immediate freedom of repute.
But that does not in fact state that he was the first to stab him, does it?
Well, no, but then right here it says, Caesar said, et tu, Brute, which means, and you, Brutus, and when Caesar couldn't have possibly known that Brutus was killing him unless he was there, because if everybody else is stabbing him first, then Caesar wouldn't have been able to see Brutus's face. He would be, bleeding and dead.
Well, of course Brutus was there, but the first person to stab him he couldn't have possibly known because it was behind his back.
In the picture here, I am pretty sure
The
that
picture
is
does not
Brutus
correlate with
himself.
the text, ma'am.
But yeah, it is photographic evidence. It is a picture of Brutus killing Caesar.
From my insight that the textbooks here often include random pictures that they feel fit the scene.
But then if you don't know who killed Brutus first, then how are you positive that it was Cassius? Brutus himself wasn't even sure what he was saying. He said that everybody else stabbed Julius Caesar while he was talking. Everybody else was talking at the same time that they killed him. Julius Caesar was not.
He said that everyone else stabbed Julius Caesar, therefore including Caius Cassius.
Yes,
Wouldn't that include
but he
Julius
did not
Caesar?
include himself when he stated that.
And
If he does not include himself, even when there are 12 other witnesses saying that he did, then why should his statement be trusted if he said that Cassius was the one that led it, when he himself is the one that was partly in charge when Julius Caesar wasn't around?
you do have a very good point there. I'll give you that. But the final article which has been violated, Article 23, Section 1, states that everyone has the right to work to free of choice, to just and favorable conditions of work, and protection against unemployment. Caesar, as supported by his peoples and justly supported under law, was to be the next heir to the Roman Empire. Cassius, as personally seeing Caesar unfit to take and rule under the throne, prevented Caesar from enacting his right under Article 23, Section 1 of the ability to take by choice employment under Rome. Therefore, Caius Cassius takes away from Caesar the position of an imperial ruler and protection against unemployment.
Bless you.
Well, the thing is that Julius Caesar was the one that's enthroned, but he had already started making decisions for his stuff. And many of the people themselves saw Julius Caesar as a tyrant, and he would not get off his throne, so the only way that they saw it possible was for him to be forced off.
Well, in the book, it is stated that it was only the group of Caius Cassius who was against Caesar. It often states that instead that the people praised him and wanted him in the position.
Well, yes, but the ones that did not like him were the ones that were more in charge of everything else that Julius Caesar was not.
Do you have evidence?
Oh boy. Oh. Not right now. But the people were scared. They praised him because they only saw one part of him. The people that forced Julius Caesar out of his throne by death, they saw another part of him that the people did not.
But referring to your original argument, which was that Julius Caesar was taking orders under which he was not there yet. Who else was there to rule Rome or take any orders? Otherwise, it would have been chaos.
Well, if he wasn't the one that took to take order yet, then him and the other people in the government could have equally done it. That he shouldn't have taken it all under himself, because then that wouldn't be equal since he isn't the one that was in charge yet.
But you also have to recall at this time that it was an imperial Rome and used to, in fact, the guidance of one leader and one leader only.
In Article 13, it states that everyone has a right to leave the country and to return. And in Julius Caesar was taking out people that he did not like for his community, and that he was taking them out of the country and not letting them return. And then so forth, he was abusing his power and breaking Article 13.
Do you have any witnesses for that?
Dr. Asia? Dr. Asia, did you know Julius Caesar?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Did you ever see or hear him sending somebody into exile to another country and leaving his?
Yes, I heard about a case where he sent out one of the conspirators' brother and sent him to exile and never to return back.
And do you think that would be fair, since in Article 13 it states that everyone has the right to leave the country and then return?
Well, no. I mean, if that's your country, you should be able to come back to it whenever you feel like it.
So do you think, in truth, that Julius Caesar was abusing his power?
Yes.
That is obvious.
I have one objection to that. Article 9 states that no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. But in Julius Caesar's speech right before his death, he did state a very just reason as to the reason why he was exiled. It's not that his brother was simply left, it's that he was exiled as in a punishment.
Well, yes, but then if you were to exile somebody with punishment, they would have to have committed some type of very big crime.
Isn't there an article that says we are able to choose